Hey there, I am Ruth Sherman, and I am so glad to have with me today Caroline Kay. Caroline is the founder of CK International, and it is an event consulting, planning, and execution company. Caroline is what I would consider to be an event mastermind. She has worked with some of the world's largest companies all over the world, events that number, I guess, over 2,500 that have thousands of attendees. And so she and I are simpatico on the meetings in the meetings industry, and so I wanted to talk with her today about how things are going, what's happening, and what she sees for the future in our current pandemic. So Caroline, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. First question is how has the pandemic affected the business?
Oh, that's I'd like to say that's a tough question actually, because and in today's world, right now, we're all being very real and transparent, and I'd say very vulnerable. So I would say, for me personally, about a month ago, maybe a bit more now, my business came to a screeching halt. I watched events cancel and postpone as quickly as blowing out a candle. So it was, and I think at the very beginning, I was a bit in denial. I was like, oh, this is just like the flu. What's wrong with you people? Come on, I have been in the events industry for over 20 years. I have dealt with bird flu, SARS, typhoons, riots, everything, and you keep going on. I mean, the last time something that hit rock bottom in the events industry, I would say, is 9/11. So, yeah, I think people keep. Actually, a friend of mine mentioned that we are kind of like therapists right now, and talking with clients, talking with vendors, especially in the events industry. I've seen a lot of people furloughed, lose their jobs. And it has a knock-on effect with other industries as well. So the travel industry, the hospitality industry. So it's a tough time. And I think I've done the whole change curve of going through anger, denial, and, now to acceptance as well. So
I really appreciate your transparency, and I feel that way too. I think it's important to tell the truth, and it helps to get through it, right? Because people are experiencing it in so many different ways. For me, every speaking engagement was canceled, every meeting was canceled, of course, every possibility of networking in person canceled. So, it's a whole new, it's a huge adjustment. So,
it really is.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. My experience was, my first inkling that there was something very wrong was back in February, early February, a large client, big company, who was having their international meeting in Singapore, said, we're canceling this. So it was like, okay, all right. So that was the indication to me that this was actually quite serious. And then my last time life was normal, was when I did my TEDx back in, the 29th of February, and then went on to LA, and then that was that. I was back on the 6th. That was the end of that.
Yeah, and I think it's quite hard as well, because we haven't provided a bad service. We, did not do a bad event the last time. It's just something so out of our control. And as event planners, we like to fix problems and everything, but this is just something we can't fix. So it's a lot of emotions have been happening in the last couple of months.
Yeah. So what are you seeing? You mentioned a little bit about what you're seeing with vendors and like you said, being sort of a therapist for people. Tell me more about that, what you're seeing both, of course, with staff, with internally and externally.
Well, what I'm seeing, especially with vendors and venues, I mean, venues are really changing how they operate. I know, for example, in Vegas, there are a lot of venues that nearly all of them have closed. But some of them are turning their car parks into areas to support the medical services. You've got venues, for example, in my hometown in London, the Excel is turned into the Nightingale Hospital. So venues are really, and I know, for example, other venues are housing the homeless as well. So they're really supporting the community and the medical team as well. As I said earlier, I know a lot of vendors have furloughed or had to let go of their staff. I've been in a lot of conversations with various different vendors to see how we can collaborate and look to the future and brainstorm ideas, etc. And then with clients, it's a lot of scenario planning, which is, a little odd that I'm noticing it a lot now. I know a lot of clients have done scenario planning in the past, but right now it is very much in the forefront. It's, what will our event look like if we hold it in October, September? Are we going to have the same number of people? What is it going to look like if we go virtual? So a lot of looking in right now, because it's a very quiet time. People obviously not having live events, but a lot of virtual events are happening. So the digital world has suddenly come up. What used to be as a great add-on for events, the digital world is now, a huge necessity.
Yeah. In fact, I'm on the board of a nonprofit, and one of the things, of course, we can't hold the gala. The gala isn't happening, and we're actually planning into the fall. So the gala was in the fall. We're not going to plan for that now. We're going to move that into 2021, but also trying to come up with ideas about how to make the virtual events more satisfying, more fun, more useful, more helpful to people. So I really like what you just said about how venues are repurposing their spaces to contribute to helping people, helping through this epidemic. But I wonder if there are any good ideas or any things that you are thinking as you're talking with your clients, as you're consulting with them, about how we can make digital, the video conferencing, more entertaining, draw people in a little better. It will never be the same as in person. It will never be the same as in person. But what can other people be doing to help and to make their digital events more appealing?
Well, first off, I think you can't take a live event and then suddenly plop it into a digital, because people are not going to sit at their computers for hours and hours and hours. People, they've always said people's, concentration is 40, 45 minutes, something like that. But there's a lot of technology out there right now that is being developed. There's new ideas coming out. There's a company that is now creating, so you can create your own avatar when you attended a digital event. I know a lot of conference venues right now, looking to the future, are spending this time putting cameras in meeting rooms and really making their meeting rooms really high tech. So when we are looking to the future of live events, because I truly believe we will have live events again, that for those who don't want to travel, who can't travel, they can hop into these rooms and be involved in the meeting as well. But for right now, I think it's also how are you communicating to your clients or to the people that you want to attend your event, your digital event, whether it be a conference, whether it be a meeting or a gala dinner. I think it starts from the moment you send that first email with the invite to the end. What is your follow-up? What are you sending them afterwards and things like that?
Yeah.